Wysteria, energy, twister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Legends of Britany. We're still on the various standing stones, the stone sculptures. Rocky North is the next. Near Karnak is the great dolmen of Rocky North, the cup and ring markings on which are thought by the surrounding peasantry to have been made by the knees and elbows of Saint Roch, who fell upon this stone when he landed from Ireland. When the natives desire a wind, they knock upon the depressions with their knuckles, murmuring spells the while, just as in Scotland in the 17th century. A tempest was raised by dipping a rag in water and beating it on a stone thrice, in the name of Satan. I always say Satan. Satan. What do these cup and ring markings so commonly discovered upon the monuments of Brittany portend? The question is one well worth examining at some length, as it appears to be almost at the foundations of Neolithic religion. Recent discoveries in the New Caledonia have proved the existence in these far-off islands, as in Brittany, Scotland and Ireland, of these strange symbols, coupled with the concentric and spiral designs which usually associate with the genius of the Celtic art. In the neighbourhood of Glasgow, and in the southwest of Scotland generally, stones inscribed with designs closely resembling those on the New Caledonian rocks have been found in abundance, as at Auchentorry or Cocknoo, Shewalton Sands, and the Milton of Colquhoun district, where the famous cup and ring altar was discovered. At Shewalton Sands in particular, in 1904, a number of stones were found bearing crosses like those discovered in Portugal by Father José Brenha and Father Rodriguez. The symbols have a strong resemblance to certain markings on the Breton rocks, and are thought to possess an alphabetic or magical significance. In Scotland, spirals are commonly found on stones marked with Ogham inscriptions, and it is remarkable that they should occur in New Caledonia in connection with a dot alphabet. The New Caledonian crosses, however, approximate more to the later crosses of Celtic art, while the spirals resemble those met with in the early examples of Celtic work. But the closest parallel to the New Caledonian stone markings to be found in Scotland is supplied by the examples at Cocknoo, in Dumbartonshire, where the wheel symbol is associated with the cup and ring markings. The cup and ring stones used to be considered the peculiar product of a race of Brythonic or British origin, and it is likely that the stones, so carved, were utilised in the ritual of rain worship or rain making by sympathetic magic. The grooves in the stone were probably filled with water to, typify a country partially covered with rainwater. From these analogies, then, we can glean the purpose of the cup and ring markings upon the dolmens of Brittany, and may conclude, if our considerations are well founded, that they were magical in purpose and origin. Do the cup-shaped depressions represent water? Or are they receptacles for rain? Do the spiral symbols typify the whirling winds? Who knows? There's a question mark right there. Nowhere are these mysterious markings so well exemplified as the wonderful tumulus of Gav Inis, the ancient place of Sepultura, the name of which means Good Island, lies in Morbahan, or Little Sea, an inland sea which gives its name to a department in the south of Brittany. The tumulus is 25 feet high, covers a fine gallery 40 feet long, the stones of which bear the markings alluded to. Walls and circles abound in the ornamentation, serpent-like figures, and the representation of an axe, similar to those to be seen in some of the grottes exécuées or the Dol des Machins. The sculptures appear to have been executed with metal tools. The passage ends in a square, sepulchral chamber, the supports of which are 8 menhirs of grained granite, a stone not found on the island. Such of the menhirs as are carved were obviously so treated before they were placed in situ, as the design passes round the edges. The Isle Oxmoines, the Monk's Island, is also situated in Morbahan and has many prehistoric monuments, the most extensive of which are the circle stones at Kergonan and the dolmen of Penhap. On the Aldi Arts, too, are megalithic monuments, perhaps the best example of which is the cromlech, or circle, at Penrhas. The folk beliefs attached to the megalithic monuments of Britanny are numerous, but nearly all of them bear a strong resemblance to each other. Many of the monuments are called Grottes aux Fées or Roches aux Fées, in the belief that the fairies either built them or used them as dwelling places, and variants of these names are to be found in Maison de Follet, House of the Goblins, at Cancoet, in Morbahan, and the Château de Paulpicuts in Questembert, in the same district. The House of the Corrigans is situated in the same department, well near Penmarch in Wysteria. There's the other end of the province. We find the House of the Gorics or Nains. Other mythical personages are also credited with the erection, most frequently either the devil or Gargantua being held responsible for their miraculous creation. The phenomenon, well known to students of folklore, that an unlettered people speedily forgets the origin of the monuments that its predecessors may have raised in times past, is well exemplified in Britanny, whose peasant folk are usually surprised, if not amused, at the question, who built the dolmens? Close familiarity with the contiguity to uncommon objects not infrequently dulls the sense of wonder they should otherwise naturally excite. But lest we feel tempted to sneer at these poor folk for their incurious attitude towards the visible antiquities of their land, let us ask ourselves how many of us take that interest in the antiquities of our own country, or our own especial locality, that they demand. And that's the next part of the standing stones. So obviously from there, we have to move on to the fairy builders next, because it's believed they possibly are fairy forts, fairy dwellings, fairy built as well. There's so many beliefs regarding these standing stones, so it's only fair that we should move on to fairy builders next, absolutely. Thank you for listening, and many blessings.
Wysteria, energy, twister.